associated to the British royal family is this idea of a royal reconciliation. And we have some of the top aides having these super secret meetings here in London.
So listen to this. Meghan Markle has always had whispers trailing her, right? But now Tom Bower, the royal biographer who doesn't hold back for anyone, has dragged her name right back into the most scandalous rumor of all, her so-called yacht girl lifestyle. And get this, Tom is 85 years old, he's got nothing to lose, nothing to hide. And now he's going for the jugular. He's ripping into Meghan's carefully polished fairy tale, calling it fake, calling it full of lies, contradictions, and cover-ups. I mean, the man even said her lies could flood the earth. That's brutal. And he's not stopping there. He's accusing her of using her daughter like a shield, yes, a shield, to distract from her crumbling marriage with Harry. And wait for it, he even mocks her obsession with Princess Diana. His exact words? "You can't be Diana." And honestly, when you think about it, Diana was adored for her authenticity. Meghan? Well, this expose is tearing her entire crafted narrative to pieces.
Brilliantly packed, photographed, and every last detail in the Daily Mail. Tom Bower, what was your reaction when you saw those headlines?
I thought it was confection.
For years, Meghan has tried so hard to shake off those yacht party rumors, you know, the high-end, glamorous events in her early acting days, filled with rich businessmen and flashy celebrities. She's dismissed them as slander, but Tom, he's not buying it. He says the whispers don't die because, frankly, they fit. Her career, he argues, doesn't look like the steady climb of a talented actress. It looks like a path paved through calculated networking, carefully chosen connections, and powerful men. By reviving that yacht story, Tom is basically saying Meghan didn't claw her way into Hollywood through hard work. She played the game of influence. And honestly, that's where the humiliation really stings.
It was manipulation. I thought that it showed, firstly, Harry absolutely desperate. I thought that Meredith Maines, who is a very aggressive PR for the Sussexes.
Because here's the thing, Meghan has always wanted people to remember her as this self-made star. But Tom Bower? He's reminding the world of the whispers that just won't go away. And then comes his second revelation. Oh, it's even nastier. He says Meghan is obsessed with Diana, not as the mother-in-law she never met, but as a brand. He points to the outfits, the photo poses, the staged paparazzi moments. It's all designed to make Meghan look like the persecuted princess, just like Diana once was. But Tom cuts right through it, saying, "You can't be Diana. Diana was loved because she was real."
Got way beyond herself, because she really doesn't understand the British royal family or Britain, but understands how to project her clients. And so I think she got it wrong by leaking it, or even letting anyone know about.
And Meghan? She's now being seen as contrived, manipulative, and opportunistic. What she thinks is a tribute to Diana. The public is calling it parody. People just aren't buying it. Instead of becoming the next Diana, Meghan's now being seen as a poor imitation. And this line is what really made headlines around the world. Tom Bower went all in, saying Meghan has spun so many contradictory stories that they could flood the entire earth. From saying she never Googled Harry before they met, to changing her story about when she first met Charles and the Queen, it's just endless contradictions.
That was a great mistake. And I don't think it'll produce what they hope. And I think in the end, I don't think the Sussexes themselves know what they want anymore. But so
Even that explosive Oprah interview, Tom points out it's riddled with contradictions too. And sure enough, many of those claims started unraveling within weeks. His point is blunt. When someone keeps reinventing their story, eventually the lies pile up so high no one believes a word anymore. Meghan's no longer seen as credible. She's being viewed as a professional storyteller, someone who twists her past for sympathy. But hold on, Tom isn't done. His most devastating revelation hits Meghan right where it hurts: her marriage. Behind the shiny Netflix documentaries and the picture-perfect paparazzi shots, he says Meghan and Harry's relationship is crumbling. According to insiders, Meghan uses little Lilibet as her shield, pushing motherhood into the spotlight as a distraction from the cracks in her marriage. And the message couldn't be clearer. Instead of fixing the real issues, Meghan is using her kids as props in a giant PR battle.
We've also seen, haven't we, the story by Victoria Ward in the Telegraph, where they were talking about you know, and that upset the palace quite a lot about talking about funeral arrangements and things.
And here's where it gets even juicier, because Tom Bower pulls back the curtain on Meghan and Harry's so-called love story. To the public, it's all roses, fairy tale vibes, and perfect Netflix edits. But Tom, he says, nope, it's not romance, it's business. What people are seeing isn't a love story at all. It's a fragile partnership hanging by the threads of public image. Behind the curtain, smoke, mirrors, a whole lot of staged happily ever after. When Meghan fled the UK, she was convinced Hollywood would open its arms and treat her like royalty. And for a hot second, it looked like they did. Red carpets, glittering events, attention everywhere. But the shine? Oh, it wore off fast.
Legacy. And is this about looking like the bigger person? Because he preaches a lot about forgiveness. We heard him talk about open borders. Sometimes he's very kumbaya, and I wonder if he's trying to put his money where his mouth is.
Now Hollywood insiders whisper she's difficult. Celebrities don't want to be caught next to her in public. Invitations to the biggest A-list parties, they've slowed down. And here's the killer. Meghan isn't seen as Hollywood royalty anymore. She's seen as a liability. And let's be honest, when the whispers of Yacht Girl resurface, especially with shady connections like Jeffrey Epstein's circles being thrown in the mix, the image she worked so hard to polish starts to look like scandal in disguise. People don't see talent, they see trouble. They see a brand tainted with drama. Instead of Meghan being aspirational, she's now labeled toxic.
You know, because how can we take him seriously when he's meeting with Ukraine and Trump and trying to make peace as a global leader when he's not even at peace with his son?
Well, I think I disagree with you about that, because Charles, when he was the Prince of Wales,
But wait, Tom Bower isn't done yet. If you thought the yacht stories, the Diana obsession, the lies, the shaky marriage, and Hollywood's cold shoulder were enough, think again. In the second half of his bombshell, he digs even deeper, showing how Meghan's entire empire could be seconds away from collapse. Here's the core of it. Meghan's obsession with control. Bower lays it out. She wants total control over every narrative, every story, every headline. He points to her Oprah interview, where Meghan allegedly wanted final say over the edit, then the Netflix series, carefully crafted to frame her as Diana 2.0. It's all designed to control her image. But here's the kicker. The more she tries to grip that control, the more it slips right out of her hands.
for anyone who said no to him. So he's a man who hates confrontation, and he has no forgiveness for people who don't agree with him. So I think the whole thing with Harry is it's guilt. I mean, it's guilt as a result of the divorce, the relationship with Diana.
And beyond the fashion moments and photo ops, she's tried to hijack Diana's legacy and make it her own. But here's the difference. Diana earned the world's sympathy by living through genuine heartbreak and suffering. Meghan, critics say her attempts look staged, calculated, and yes, laughable. Social media doesn't buy it. They mock her paparazzi setups, they ridicule the comparisons. And Tom Bower? He slices it all down to one brutal truth.
The fact that Harry is rather dim and he didn't look after him to make sure he had a role. But more, it was neglect as well in his teenage years when he was chasing Camilla and all the rest of it.
Club H is...
Meghan can never be Diana. Why? Because Diana was loved, Meghan. She's tolerated at best and mocked at worst, and Tom explains why. The sympathy she had in the early days, it's drained away. The more she talks, the less people believe her. Instead of strength, they see contradictions. Instead of authenticity, they see cold calculation. Instead of Diana's vulnerable humanity, all they see in Meghan is a brand of victimhood. Packaged, polished, sold to the highest bidder.
Yeah. Well,
This guy's not trusted.
Rob, when Harry made that dash to London, when the King revealed his cancer, to my surprise, Camilla was in the room for the 30 minutes. And she was there to make absolutely certain that Harry...
I don't know that's true.
You don't think she was there?
No, I don't. In fact, I'm pretty certain.
Bower argues it's her endless contradictions finally catching up with her. Think about it. The Oprah interview, the drama over Archie's title, the so-called New York car chase, the lawsuits. Every time the details unravel, her credibility shatters just a little more. And here's the dangerous part. Once credibility is gone, it's almost impossible to claw it back. Now, Meghan is sitting in that dreaded zone where people don't just question her stories. They assume she's lying by default. And then comes Tom's knockout punch. He says Meghan's brand itself is falling apart. Spotify terminated her deal. Archewell's drowning in debt. The empire she tried to build on image ? It's wobbling. Badly.
There's going to be a draw there.
And I think it's interesting because we always say, look at what he did to William and Catherine, and that is very important, and I believe it was cruel. You're suing all of these newspapers for leaking private information while publishing private text.
And it doesn't end there. Netflix, the crown jewel of the Sussex Empire, is reportedly cooling down on them too. Hollywood's biggest players? Keeping their distance. Even the royals, her in-laws, have cut her out completely. Can you imagine? Just a few years ago, Meghan had the world at her feet. Now, she's standing on crumbling ground with a damaged marriage, a scandal-soaked reputation, and a brand everyone says is built on lies. Tom Bower doesn't just highlight the cracks, he smashes the entire structure.
Present moment is, I don't think he feels in any way guilty. I don't think Harry feels any remorse. And I think that is the key thing in all this reconciliation. He still thinks that he's owed an apology from Charles and from William for the way they've treated not only him but also Meghan.
And here's where the knife twists the deepest. Meghan Markle, the woman who once styled herself as the modern Diana, the Hollywood starlet who thought she could conquer royalty and fame, is now being painted by Tom Bower as manipulative, dishonest, and fading fast into irrelevance.
That will make the money. I mean, she's simply, she's got a brass neck, as we'd say. She really doesn't bother her. She can see this way. She's probably looked at the king selling his,
Think about it. This is a woman who once believed she could rewrite history with a carefully managed PR machine, every move staged, every interview rehearsed, every story bent to her favor. But the cracks are impossible to hide now. The public sees through it. Hollywood? They're stepping away. The royals? They've turned their backs completely. The debate is alive. And it's fiery, because at the end of the day, it comes down to this. Can PR spin really outlast the truth? Can contradictions and carefully staged sympathy keep fooling the public forever? Or are Meghan's days of pulling the wool over everyone's eyes finally truly over? Because yes, Meghan's lies might flood the earth, but the truth always rises. Always.